welcome back to another video, and today we've got a very exciting one and a very long one to film for me. We have my huge pen collection. So if you are anything like me and you hoard pens and art supplies like a madman, you're going to enjoy this video because I've been collecting a lot of markers for many years now, and these are only the ones that I have here in England with me. And we are starting off with brush markers, and with those brush markers we are starting off with my Koi Sakura brush pens. So I recently got these at an art shop in Porto, and I started off by getting just 2 or 3 colors just to test them out, and I was a huge fan, so I went in and I got like a skin tone set, which was weird because all the colors are extremely orange and it just didn't look very nice for like skin tones. They were very like hard to work with, and yeah, I mean I make do sometimes, but I only actually use like maybe 2 or 3 pens from the skin tone set. But I will say that the other colors, the more bold colors, are absolutely gorgeous, and I do use those all the time for backgrounds and just blocks of color. They are really vivid, and the brush part of it is very nice. So yeah, as I was saying, I've been accumulating pens for ages, but most of the ones that I'll be showing you today are the ones that I have with me here, so the ones that I actually have with me right now, and hopefully you'll find something new. But yeah, so I'm also doing swatches for every single pen that I show you guys in this video, because I was like, you know what, why not? So these are all the swatches for the Koi Sakura brush pens. Yeah, I haven't got many of the colors. I've got like tons more colors, but I'm really happy with the ones I've got right now. And as you can see, they don't bleed, which is the best part of these pens. They just don't bleed at all. And this leads us on to my Tombow dual brush pens, and these are very world famous brush pens. They've got a little nib on, like a bullet nib on one side, and a brush pen on the other side. And these are absolutely perfect for like calligraphy. I use them a lot for both drawing and bullet journaling. I just think that they go really well with bullet journaling because they have such pale colors. I'm a huge fan of the pastel color set from Tombow. They're just really nice colors. I just love them so much. So now I'm going to be showing you all of the black brush markers, so like calligraphy markers that I own. I do own a lot of them, but most of them had run out a couple months ago, so I couldn't really show you guys here, but these are indeed my favorites that I keep going back to. So we're starting off with my set of 3 brush pens, calligraphy pens that I got from Banggood. I have the S, the M, and the L one, and they don't really like show the actual brand of them. Everything's like in a language that I don't read or speak, so I'm really sorry about that, but I will have the link for these in the description below. They're really cheap and really good, so I just always keep going back to them. And then up next, they've got my Pentel Real Brush Pen. Again, this one's a classic. It's really good for inking things. It's got a very flexible brush, which is very good for different kinds of thickness strokes. And then up next, I've got my Tombow calligraphy pens. The one I have here is the 151. I actually used to have the other that came with a set, so there's like a blue one and a black one, but yeah, I just have this one at the moment, but I really like it. It's also a classic. And then another one that I really enjoy are the Pigma brush pens, and I've got the medium and the bold one, but there's also a small one that I don't know where it is. And this leads us on to my Zig Real Color brush pens. Again, these are some brush pens that I wanted to experiment with because I didn't know them very well. So I got these 3 colors, when was this? Like maybe during the summer. And I mean, they're not bad. They're very good for calligraphy and stuff if you're like a slow worker, but they have like individual like hairs in the brush of it, so they do become a bit sparse if the pen becomes a bit dry. So if you do get these, I do recommend to do some little swatches on the side before you actually use them, because they take some time to get used to, I guess. Also because the brush is very flexible, more than I'm actually used to, because it's very watery. But the colors are quite pretty, especially that deep blue one. It's a nice one. And next up we have got my Art and Fly dual tip brush pens. These are some that I've got very recently and I honestly love them. They've got such beautiful vibrant colors. They come in this little set, and at first when I got them I kind of forgot to like try them out, and they just kind of went into my pile of pens, but I actually got back into trying them a while ago, and I was reminded of how good they are. Not only are they really good fine liners, like they're a very good replacement to like the traditional Staedtler ones, but the brush pen on these are absolutely amazing. They're like sturdy enough that you can not worry about applying too much pressure or too little pressure. Like, it's really good for beginners if you're a beginner in calligraphy, but it is flexible enough that you can do some sort of like thinner strokes if you need to. But yeah, I mean, I'm just swatching out here all the colors that come in this set for you guys. But as you can see, the colors are really beautiful, and I'm going to be using these a lot more, that's for sure. Especially for bullet journaling, they're really good, especially because they don't bleed. They're a definite must. I'm also doing some little demos of how amazing the brush pens are really over here on the side. They're so nice. So yeah, as per usual, I will be leaving all of the links for the pens and basically everything that I mentioned in this video down below. I used to have a lot more pens a couple months back here with me, but I sent a bunch of them back home to my little sister because they would be put to more use there. And also, I have a very small room here in Leeds, and I just don't have the space for hoarding as much as I used to, or as much as I wish I had. I mean, I do still think I've got a lot to show you today, but unfortunately I'm not showing you as many as I'd like. So after just swatching out all of these, you can see there's a beautiful range of colors that you can work with on these. We're going straight into these ones, the Scribblicious brush pens. I got these like maybe 3 years ago, and I got these at The Works in England, which is like a very low-priced art supply store, like arts and crafts, very cheap stuff. I got this whole set of them for like maybe it was like between £6 and £9, something really cheap, and I use them mostly just to add like pops of colors to my workbooks and stuff, so like nothing too fancy or whatever. And yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something really cheap to start off with, the brush pen nib in itself it isn't the best. It's very sturdy and it's very hard, but it does still work as a brush pen if you are looking for something easy to start off with for calligraphy, or just something to add some pops of color. Again, I just got these mainly because I wanted some coloring pens to work with in my workbooks, and I do recommend them. They're not too bad for their price. But yeah, they come in like this really cool like prism packaging, which I thought was interesting as well, and they've got like a lot of colors. And next up, I am going to head on into markers. So I've got quite an extensive collection so far of random sets of markers. I've got, of course, my Winsor & Newton brush pens and Promarkers, and I switched over to an A4 sketchbook for this because there are a lot. I've been accumulating these for a couple of years now, and I used to have some more sets of these a couple years back, but a bunch of them have dried out since then, as you can probably expect. So mostly, I think it was just the gray tone set that dried out for me, but yeah, I've still got my skin tone set, which is in this bundle of mess at some point, and I've got a bunch of repeated colors as well, which is very annoying. Mostly from when I bought sets of colors and it just came with a repeated one that I already had. But at least they're pretty colors, so it's not too bad. I'm just keeping them in case one of them runs out. And I don't use these as much as I wish I did, mainly because they bleed a lot. If anyone owns Winsor & Newton brush markers and Promarkers, you know, they bleed like a bitch. And that's just how markers be, you know, unfortunately. But these bleed a significant amount considered to the other markers that I own. But the colors are absolutely gorgeous, so I'm going to be trying to use these a lot more in my sketchbooks. Because I have been using a lot more markers in my sketchbooks, I'm going to be trying using these more. Most of the colors that I have are the more pastel-y ones, and you guys can see there's a theme here. But I just love pastel colors, and I'm going to be trying using them more. I'm just swatching here the skin tone set that I have as well. I did have to kind of guess these as well, with the ones that came in the sets, because I didn't have the packaging with me anymore. So I kind of had to guess these a little bit, but yeah, I think I did a good job on these. Another set of really cool things that I have is the metallic set of Promarkers, and these are just a random set that I got this one time because I thought it'd be nice to have some metallic markers, and they are actually really pretty markers. They come in different colors, and they just got the average bullet nib and the chisel, but they're very nice. And again, I've written the references for all the pens that I've swatched and mentioned, so you guys can have more of an idea of which color is which. So this is what the brush pen looks like for anyone that's not familiar, and this is what the Promarkers non-chisel side looks like. With these done, we are going into my favorites, my Art and Fly brush markers. These I've had for maybe 2 or 3 months, but I am absolutely a huge fan of these. I really am. So not only are they actual brush markers, but they have really gorgeous colors, and I won't be swatching all of them because I have done a swatch of these already, and you guys can just kind of pause on the little swatch sheet that I just showed you to kind of see the colors, but I did want to swatch out a couple just so you can see how the pen works. So the problem with the brush nib on some of them is that it's maybe a little bit too flexible for doing very hard strokes, but for doing smaller strokes like this and smaller brush movements, it is a lot better. I just say that for doing some harsher strokes, the chisel is really the way to go, especially because these markers don't have barely any streaking, if any at all. It's probably one of my favorite things about these markers, that if you are covering a huge surface area with markers, it won't streak, and also they're really good with layering, and I just really love them. They're really good, and they're quite affordable. They do again bleed the usual, but I just really like them. And next up, we've got my TouchOnly Twin markers. I got this set as well from Banggood, and these also are very beautiful and very nice. The problem is they aren't brush pens, they're just markers. So I've got the 80 pack, and again, I already had a pre-made swatch chart that I did a couple of weeks ago. So if you guys just want to have a pause and look at the colors, you can totally do that. The bullet nib and the chisel nib are just very average. They're what you'd expect. And these markers were very, very cheap. Like for alcohol markers, these were very cheap. So when I actually tried these out and swatched them, I was very shocked at how actually good they are. Like they're very good quality. Like there's barely any streaking when you, again, are coloring in a large surface. They're also quite good at blending and just layering, I think is the best way to say it. They also come, I think, with like some sort of blending tool and a white marker. Also, the Art and Fly brush markers also come with 2 gel white markers. This blue one was not very nice to swatch out because it is so pale, it streaks a lot, but yeah, I think that was like a one-off situation. But normally, if you just layer it, they look really, really good. And as you can see, after drying for a bit, the blending becomes really seamless and there's a beautiful gradient. And with that said, now we're going on to my Crayola Supertips. And these are one of my all-time favorites. They're so cheap and affordable. You can get them like anywhere. So let's get right on into it. I use my Crayola Supertips mostly for like drawing out like a block background, but mostly in my bullet journal. This is mainly because they don't bleed at all. So that's like one problem out of the way. And second of all, you can actually do calligraphy with these. Not a lot of people know this, but they look like just general like children's markers, but they've got a very flexible tip. It's not exactly a brush tip, but it's flexible enough that you can actually do very nice handwriting and calligraphy with it. So I use these a lot for shading in things, coloring them in, and also calligraphy. And also they've got really, really gorgeous colors, and I just think that if you are looking for some really cheap options for just coloring markers and for calligraphy purposes, these are really good for beginners. I do really recommend them. And they'll last ages as well. I've had these for 2-3 years and I use them a lot. They're still, you know, going strong. And up next, we have our zebra Mildliners. And when I was filming this video, I actually noticed that I'm missing one of the pens from the set, because I've got 3 out of 4 of their sets, and I'm missing one of the pens out of, I think it's the 2nd or the 3rd set that I'm going to show you. So yeah, you get these in sets of 5 markers, and you've probably seen these roaming around. They were really a huge hype last year and beginning of this year. Pretty much every bullet journaler on YouTube has them, and I wanted to give them a try, and they're very, very nice. I use these for bullet journaling a lot as well. They've got the highlighter set, more saturated tone set, and then just like a paler but still quite nice color set, and then they've got like an extra set that I don't have, so they've got 4 in total. And I think I got mine from the Study Kiosk, which I think is like one of the retailers that sells them for cheapest, so I'll leave the link to that down there, but you can get these anywhere on Amazon or anything. They're very, very nice, very good to have. They're not expensive at all. They're quite affordable. So yeah, apparently the color that I'm missing is an orange color because I looked it up, but never mind that. Let's head on to my next one, which is Sharpies. So thing is with my Sharpies, I used to have a huge collection of Sharpies. Like I had every single color they had. It was actually a problem. In high school I had all the Sharpies. I was the Sharpie girl. I had a whole pencil case full of them, and over the years I've started losing them, and most of them have started, you know, running out. So these are the survivors. I've got like a red one, a orange one, a light blue one, a dark blue one, and a black one. But they are still very useful for permanent marker utilities, so I still keep them around. So with my markers done, we're heading on into Fineliners, and I put all of my Fineliners that I own into this little cute pot that my housemate's mom gave to me for Christmas, and we're starting off with my Art and Fly Fineliners, which are my all-time favorites. If you guys watched any of my Inktober videos, you will know that I am in love with these fine liners because I'll give you a rundown as to why later when we swatch them. So I've also got my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen set, which I also will be swatching. We've also got my Banggood drawing fine liners. I think they're branded like that. They're basically knockoff Micron fine liners, which I also have 2 of. I've got these, the Study Kiosk little erasable pens. They're very, very cute. They've got little ears and they're adorable. I love them so much. And I've also got a Unipin 0.5 fineliner that I will be swatching for you as well. And also these 2 classic barrel fineliners that everyone had in primary school, but I still use them a lot. They're very useful. So, to swatch out all these bad boys, I am starting off by swatching my Art & Fly fineliners. So, if you're not familiar with these, they are basically the best fineliners ever. They don't bleed, they are waterproof, they don't smudge, and they've got a big range of sizes in just the one set that you get. They're really, really good, guys. I'm not even joking, like, they're perfect. You can draw them under markers, over markers, under watercolor, over watercolor. They're just super versatile, and I use them for, like, everything. So those are the Art & Fly ones, and now I'm just swatching out the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen set. These also include some brush markers, but I wanted to keep the set together, so I kind of just kept them in here with the fine liners. Forgive me. So yeah, I do surprisingly still have the whole set of these. I've had them for ages as well, and somehow they're still going strong as well. They're also very, very good. I have no complaints. They've got some brush pens, some larger nib pens, some fine liners. If you want to invest in a good set of black pens, these are really good to get. And next up, I am just swatching these, like, basically knockoff Micron pens from Banggood, and they actually have really good sizes. Like, they range from 0.05 up to 0.8. It's very noticeable, and normally sometimes you can't really tell the difference between different sizes in fine liners, but these you really can. They do bleed a little bit if you apply anything on top of them, but you know, they're good and they're cheap. So, and then I'm swatching out my Micron 0.2 in blue and a black. I love that blue one. It's really, really nice for drawing. And then I'm just showing you guys a little demo of how these little erasable pens work. I don't know why, but today, the day that I was filming this, these were going really bad, but they normally work really well. Like, I normally use these in my bullet journal because I make a lot of mistakes, but they actually do erase really nicely. And yeah, after showing you guys my barrel fineliners, that was it for my fineliners, basically. And next up, we've got my gel pens. I've only got this set of gel pens, basically. They're the Pentel ENERGEL 0.7, and I got these for Inktober last year, and still a huge fan. And of course I've got my white gel pens, and I'm going to be swatching those out for you now. So yeah, I've got my Pentel ENERGEL pens last year for Inktober because I was wanting to do a lot of line art and stuff in different colors just to experiment, and I became a huge fan of these. I still use them a lot, and they're just a good investment. Gel pens are, you can never go wrong with gel pens, you know. I got these from Amazon. They're pretty cheap. I'll of course link them down there. They've got some nice colors. I use the black one a lot in my Inktober this year. If you watched any of my videos, you will know that. And here I'm just kind of giving you a demo of the different white gel pens that I have. I've actually recently invested in another one, which is probably my favorite one that I've ever gotten, but it was just after I filmed this video, which is very annoying. But yeah, so recently I got the Signo Uniball one, which is probably my favorite so far, but it's really good and better than all the ones I just showed you. So for my miscellaneous section here at the end, I've got this Uniposco pen that I got recently. this silver and gold pen that, you know, you always have to have like a silver and a gold pen somewhere in your arsenal. So I really like these two. They're very pigmented and very, very nice to use. I've also got this one solitary Copic Chow marker. I really don't own any Copics beside this one. It's very, very sad. I have this Uniball eye pen in red wine, which is, I've had this since like this brand of markers since high school, and it's like it's a classic. They're really, really good. I've got this random paper chase marker, which is also very nice. I don't know why I don't use it more. I used to use it a lot more in my foundation year because I used to use a lot more like thicker fineliners to write. And then I've got this Faber-Castell pen in copper, which is such a beautiful pen. Like, it's actually very, very gorgeous. So I'm excited to swatch that one for you guys. If I'm not mistaken, I think this might be the last pen of this entire video. So let's go right on into just swatching these a little bit. So this is my Copic Chow. I do see the appeal of Copics. Don't get me wrong, I love Copics. They're very, very nice to use, but I personally don't have the money to be spending so much on markers, especially because I don't really use markers that often. So yeah, this is the Paper Chase Strange Nib pen. And this is the wine red Uniball one. It's very, very beautiful. I like to use it to jot down notes and like underlining stuff. It's just really nice, a really nice color. And then this is the gold pen. This lighting, I'll be honest, wasn't optimal for the gold pen, but you can see how, you know, saturated it is. Probably should have showed you in a different lighting, but trust me when I say this is a very, very nice gold. And it goes very, very well with the silver pen from Pilot. And they're just that combo that everyone should have, especially coming up to the festivities, the Christmas era that's coming up. And this is the copper Faber-Castell one, which again, the lighting doesn't do it justice. It's very, very beautiful. I use this one mostly to write my name on things because it's just gorgeous. And this is me just giving you a demo of my Posca pen that decided to die on me, which was great. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for everything that I wanted to show you guys today. This is pretty much my whole pen collection right now, up to date. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching me talk about my hoarding problem. And thank you. I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye!